you're going to find consistency using silver bullet because it's time based and it's always going to form every single day. It's there. So why don't you fucking follow the rules that I've placed in front of you? You're failing. You are failing, not me. You are. So you have to change that shit. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment. Let's say for a moment that you can determine the next draw on liquidity. You can do that all by yourself without me. Wonderful. I'm proud of you. That's the number one thing. If you can do that, you will always find setups. But if you can do that and you can see how trades form, but you can't execute on them, how do you fix that? Well, you don't have a model. You just have a familiarity that, okay, the market should be turning here. Well, what do you do? Well, what is it telling you? Is there an order block? Is there a fair value gap? Is there a breaker? Is it an institutional order flow entry drill there? Is it, good grief, is it optimal trade entry? You know, any number of things. Is it an Artemis pattern? My nod to my charter members. Oh shit, here comes a whole new wave of videos by everybody on YouTube. The ICT Artemis trade. He never loses. That's bullshit. The guys that are out there saying you never lose doing silver bullet trades, you shouldn't do that. That's false advertising. Okay, you're going to have a losing trade. I never said you're never going to have a losing trade. But you're going to find consistency using silver bullet because it's time-based. And it's always going to form. Every single day, it's there. The problem is you want it to form on your favorite time frame. You want it to fit your already established expectation or preconceived notions about what price should do. And you're not following the rules. So yes, you're doing shit wrong. And you're not getting the results, and that's expected, right? If I give you a recipe and say, this is the ingredients, this is the order you do it, and this is what you should expect as a result, and you substitute something, okay? You leave a key ingredient out and replace it with what you think is better suited for that. You're not going to get the same result. And don't complain that you didn't get the result that was promoted by me that you should be getting if you're doing something outside the scope of the instructions and parameters I've given. If you come to me as an educator, as a mentor, you're trusting me enough to give me your attention initially. So why don't you fucking follow the rules that I've placed in front of you? You're failing. You are failing, not me. You are. So you have to change that shit. It's always going to be you. When I mess up and when I fail, nobody's fault but mine. That's accountability. You have to be accountable to yourself. And some people just don't want to be accountable. They want to have the luxury of being able to blame somebody else because they fucked up. They didn't do something right. And in this industry, guess what, Jack? You don't get that luxury. It's always you. Because I don't run a fucking signal service. If you make money, congratulations. You did it right. Well done. I am proud of you. If you lose money, eat that shit because you did it on your own. What do you mean, eat that shit? Learn from it. It's hard medicine. It's a bitter pill. Swallow it. It's going to make you better. It will make you better. It's going to make you the trader you want to be. You think that it's always going to be the sugar highs that make you the best trader that you're ever going to be. Give me the stuff that works, ICT. Fuck all the bullshit. You're going to learn from all the cuts, the abrasions, the bruises, the losses. That's what I learned from. And you're going to learn from it too. But you have to allow that to happen. You can't tiptoe around thinking, I'm going to avoid losing trades. You're not. Because the more you try to do that, it's going to land right in your lap. But every single time I blew out an account, it was on the heels of a good run. And I wanted to feel good again because it was wearing off too fast. The same fucking hour, walking around like, oh, shit. I made more money than I make a whole month. A whole month of work in this bullshit job. I made more money than that in this one fucking trade. Man, like if I just did that once a month, I don't need to have a job. Yeah, it's great. It's wearing off. I got to do it again. And you think that you can just go into the market and find something like that again, forgetting the fact that it just took you 2.5, 3 weeks for that price run to continue, to complete and go to its target. You get tore up by the chemical imbalances in your brain when you win. And you don't even know what that feels like yet because you haven't done it yet. You haven't won. You haven't found consistency. And when that achievement is reached, you have a whole new level of learning to go through. It's something, folks. It's a learning process to grow accustomed to being profitable. It sounds like it's something, there's no way everybody should have no problem adjusting that. No, it's weird. I don't know how to articulate it where it would make sense. I've wrestled with this topic for a long time to be able to teach it to students. And that's just why I say you'll know. When you go through it, you'll know exactly what I mean, because there's no way for me to articulate it in words to make you understand that it is extremely stressful making money in the beginning. When you find consistency and you find profitability, it's stressful because, first of all, you want to do more of it when you do it. And you're going to have to wrestle with that. Am I over trading? Am I pushing too much? Am I trying to push the edge too far? Am I overstaying my welcome? You're going to have a whole new learning experience that you haven't ever even considered yet because you're not even profitable. I promise you, if you ask anybody, do it. Ask anybody that's found profitability if this isn't true. It's a weird state of mind because it's like it's too good to be true. That's what it's like, a dreamlike state. That's really one of the topics in the title of one of my books, the chapter, a dreamlike state, where I do my best, and I already know because what I have in outline isn't going to be satisfying, but it's enough to introduce you to the idea, which is what I'm doing here. When you find consistency and profitability, it's going to feel like at any time it's going to stop working. And some of you already have that mindset that come to me all the time. Aren't you afraid that you're teaching this and the market's going to adjust to that? What the fuck you mean it's going to adjust to it? This is the market. This is the market. This is exactly what the market does. So the market's not going to try to do something it doesn't do. This is what it does. I mean, you're who you are. You're who you are, and that's just the way it is. You can't be a dog. You might try to say you identify as a fucking dog, but you're a fucking human being. You are a person. This is how you are. You can't be something that you aren't. The market isn't going to stop being this way. That's why I tell you all the time, unequivocally, there's no way. There's no fucking way that this is going to ever change. It's never going to change. Never. It's never going to change. You doing it wrong, that's going to happen. You losing money doing something incorrectly, that's going to happen. But if you know how to trade and you learn how to control yourself, a losing trade or 2 or 3, okay, stop, recalibrate, let me get my bearings again, and then go back to doing what you're supposed to be doing. But you have to learn how to pause. Pause when you're losing money and pause when you made money. It's not like you want to go out there and get another hit and get high on success. The people that succeed, that are long-term consistently profitable, they know when to sit still. And that's a very hard thing to teach. It's hard. It's hard to teach that. So I just come up with general rules that when you have a really good, nice run, stop. Be content. Live there for a little while, a whole week. But there's so many other trades. Yes, there is. The market's always moving. But you're insisting upon doing something because the availability is there versus building a foundation of mental capital. That's the point. You can have whatever you want to have in your funded accounts or your real accounts, but you really aren't trading with that. You're trading with what you're willing to lose in your head. That's real. That's the threshold that you don't want to ever cross. What does that mean? Say you have a $10,000 account. You have $10,000 in your trading account, and you think 2% you can take that. Well, if you're new, 2% is too high. Way too high. But let's assume that that's what it is. In reality, you're uncomfortable if it gets to 1%. So you might initially put your stop loss there at what would be considered 2%. But as soon as it starts approaching that 1% threshold and drawdown while you're in the trade, that's what causes you to collapse the trade. So what's your mental capital? 1%. That's your real capital. Have you considered that when you're doing your trades? Most of you probably haven't. That's a secret that unlocks performance that you've never even dreamed of. Because when you excel in knowing where your threshold is and you say, okay, I'm content with that. That's why I always said, be content with enough. What is enough? it's going to be uniquely different for all of you. $15,000 winning trade may not be significant for some of you. For other people, that's a whole year. And I'm done. I ain't got to do shit now. So it's a matter of personal preference and where you are, what your expectations, what your skill set provides for. But your mental capital, the way you build that up, is when you have the victory like this and it's done well. And you may have never taken a trade on this, but remember, in your journaling, you're going to be recording it like you saw it coming and you did. You're tricking your brain with pseudo experience.